Hello everyone and greetings from Cameron's HQ in Portland, Oregon. My name is Mick O and I am going to show you Photo Mechanic. This video is meant to be for folks who are completely new to Photo Mechanic, who've never used it before or never even seen it before, and show you a little bit how it's used and a little bit about the user interface and just the very basics of getting started. Photo Mechanic is a photo browser and metadata engine. It's used for managing photos, looking at photos and adding metadata and other crucial information to them, and just getting them where they need to go. So here is Photo Mechanic 6, the basic window. This main area here is what we call the contact sheet. If I'm looking at a folder of files, the thumbnails for the images will show up here. On the left side here we have the navigator. This is my hard drive. And Photo Mechanic looks at folders at your hard drive and displays any photo or image files in those folders. If there's a folder in here that I use a lot, I will drag that up to the favorites pane above here. And then down here is a sort of a status window for certain tasks to let you know when they're happening. So a basic task, most people, the first thing people do with Photo Mechanic is use it to copy files off a memory card onto their hard drive. We call this process ingest, and as I plug in a memory card, call it the ingest dialog over here, and here we see the ingest dialog. Now there's a lot going on here. Don't worry too much about all this. I'm going to leave all these things on defaults, but I'm going to select the memory card. This down here will show where the files are going to go. I have it set to move into a dated folder, so it shows you the destination path. I have an incoming folder set up here and a dated today's date. If I want to do a secondary or backup, I would do that here, but I'm not going to do that. One thing I do want to show you is applying the metadata template to the photos. So as you know, metadata is very important with photos to give them context. And I'm going to apply some very basic metadata to these photos as I copy them. So I'm going to show you this metadata template. Now these photos that I'm going to use in this demo are from a photographer here in Portland, Oregon named Jason Hill. So I have his image here, his image and information set up here. So all the images that I copy over are going to have his copyright, his credit, things like that, his URL. These are going to be tagged into every photo. So you can have this set up with your information and just tag it into every photo you copy. So that's kind of just done and you don't have to worry about it. So I'll close that template. And I'm going to rename the photos as well. That's something I always do with all my ingests, where I rename it with a date sort. That's the date they were taken and the original frame number that the camera had assigned. So let's give this a try here. We're going to go ahead and ingest these photos. As you can see, there's the stats here. Here we go. And this is starting. So these are photos that Jason took at a shoot at Cobalt Studios. It's a great photo studio here in Portland, Oregon. If you need to take photos and you're in Portland, check out Cobalt Studios. They're great friends of Camera Bits. We see the status here as these get taken. This was a photo shoot Jason did with a dancer and model here in Portland named Natalie Rose. You can see her contact information, I believe, in the description of this video, but she's also great if you need a model for anything. And this is I think this was a test photo of Jason's dog as well. So as you see, these are coming in here. The first task I want to do is start weeding out some of the rejects of the files I don't really need, like some of these blank ones. So that's this process we call a cull. So what I'm going to do is double click on the first image. You see it opens up in this large window we call the preview window. There's some metadata here that the camera has tagged into the file. As you can see, the frame number, the focal length, all that sort of EXIF data is coming. And you can start this process, as we've seen, as the ingest is still going on. We can get to the call quickly. One of the main points of Photo Mechanic is to do this stuff very fast. So I like to use star rating to rate my file. So I'm going to call this shoot, and I'm going to start using ones as my rejects. Now I have it set up so that when I just press the 1 key, it assigns 1 star rating and moves to the next file. So as you can see here, these are all kind of pre-test ones. So I'm just going to get rid of all these real quick. These are raw files, but as you can see, Photo Mechanic goes very, very fast between these files. Photo Mechanic uses the embedded JPEG preview in a RAW file, so it doesn't have to render the RAW, so this process ends up being very, very fast. I can very quickly go through these. I can go, if I need to go back, I can just use the back arrow. And so here's one, I'll rate this a 3, and then we'll go through some of these others. That one, that might be useful with a crop, so we can see as well. Here, there's a different look. And so, you know, this is a very basic shoot. Wait for a few more to come in here. That one. There we go. That's a win. I'm going to give this a 4 stars. So that's a basic culling process. So we'll go through and we have these photos, and you can see. I'll point out here the file name has been renamed with the date that the file was taken and the frame number. That was the step I did in the ingest process. And now let's only show the 3 stars and above. So I'll deselect 0 through 2, and these are the 5 files I want to work with. This one I really liked. It might be a cover photo for something. So I'm going to add a color class to that. I'll add a blue color class to that. And if I wanted to only show blue files, I can do that by only selecting the blue up here. But these are all my 3 stars and above. And now say I want to take these into, the first thing I would like to do is maybe add some metadata to these. So I'm going to select all of them. Command A, or on a Mac or Control A will select them all. And I do Command I to open the metadata template. So as we see here, I'm going to throw some keywords in here: dancers, Cobalt Studios, these types of things. If I needed to add a caption here, I could, so I'm going to apply this to the selected. So if I look at one particular image and I just hit the I key, it'll show me all the metadata for that. So we'll see the keywords have been added, but also down here the credit and copyright information from the ingest is also there. You can see the 3 stars here. So that's all the metadata that's been added to this image. And say I want to bring these into something. For this demo, I'm going to show Lightroom Classic, so I'm just going to select these all and drag them down here into Lightroom. Actually, let's start up Lightroom. The best way to get photos into Lightroom is the drag and drop. For some reason, Lightroom doesn't always ingest files the same way. There are, let's see, let's continue with that. So I said, yeah, let's drag these into. Lightroom isn't the fastest, but it's so I've dragged these here, and it's only selected the ones that I've dragged in. That one, that one, that one. These files are in here as they import. And as you can see, as these are imported into Lightroom, the star ratings have come through and the color classes come through. So I tagged this one blue. This is now blue in my Lightroom Classic catalog. So and now I can go in and do whatever I need to do with these, and all the other metadata does exist in there as I've dragged it into Lightroom. So let me just go back into Photo Mechanic here, and so that's about it. So that's Photo Mechanic in a nutshell. That's a very basic ingest. The reason people do this is that culling process where we could go from image to image very quickly. That's the big time saver in Photo Mechanic. If I were doing that process in Lightroom, as I went from image to image, it would take a little bit of time to render the file. And say you have a shoot of 300 images, and you have a second or 2 for each one. That time really adds up. It adds up to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how much you've shot. It can really save you hours and hours of time and over a weekend. So that's Photo Mechanic. It does a lot of other things as well that we can get into in other videos. But that's it for this one. If you have requests about specific features in Photo Mechanic, hit us up on social media. We're very active on Facebook and Twitter. There are Camera Bits accounts and Photo Mechanic accounts. Photo Mechanic accounts on Facebook and Twitter are generally for tech support. But you can contact us, follow us and contact us there. If you want to try Photo Mechanic, you can do that free for 30 days with no credit card required. Just download the installer from camerabits.com and click on try. And yeah, that's it. I hope you all have a very, very happy and productive year 2020. Happy photographing, and we'll see you next time.